Hello, dear viewers from Inspire Now. Today we are here with a writer, a screenwriter, Guillermo Arriaga, and we're gonna ask him some questions. Welcome.
Hi, how are you? I'm very happy to be here in the Transilvania Book Fair.
Can you share with us some insights of your creative writing, all the process? How do you write the screenwritings, the novels, and how do you approach storytelling in different ways every time?
Well, for me, both are literature. Writing books or writing films for me are exactly the same. I just need to understand that the screenplay is going to become a film and a novel is going to become a book. But for me, both are literature. When I write, I have no idea where I'm going. I have no plan. I have no idea what the ending is going to be. So I discover the novel or discover the screenplay while I am writing it. And the difference between writing a screenplay and writing a novel has to do with the point of view, with a narrative person. Cinema is always a third person. It's always, you have to be distant. And the novel is always a first person, even though if you write it like a third person, it's going to be a first person. When you say that the character thinks or feels, you're going inside it.
You define yourself as a hunter who works as a writer. Tell us a bit more about this self-defining. How did it start?
Well, I'm actually a hunter, a real hunter. Is not a metaphor. And I hunt with bow and arrow only. And to hunt with bow and arrow, you begin understanding a lot of things about nature and human nature, about all the contradictions and paradoxes of what it means, life and death. So I say that I'm a hunter that writes because hunting has brought me all what I know about humanity. And it gives me this sense of grace and not black and white. And you understand the beauty and the cruelty. You understand what it means to kill an animal that you're gonna eat. Because right now we're sitting in this beautiful bookstore, but before that there was woods here, and you have to bring down all the nature that lives there to raise a city.
Maybe the instinct of survival.
Yes, and so with hunting you began understanding many of those mysteries of life and death.
Many of your works explore some topics of fate, destiny, and interconnectedness. And what draws you to these themes, and how do they influence your storytelling?
I don't think it has to do with destiny or fate. I think life, is not that we are destined to something or we have a fate of something. Is that life, the circumstances of life beginning is like the dominoes. One domino brings down another domino and another, and those circumstances are the things that build you. And more than destiny, I think that I'm obsessed with decisions, which are the choices we have in life. After, for example, an accident, you can live all your life in a trauma, or you can move on from the accident. So those are the choices I am more interested. I'm more interested in the choices than in the destiny.
And speaking about accidents, and you can be the living example of what you told. You had an accident in your young days, and you used that for some inspiration of some of your works. Can you tell us a bit how did you get over, let's say, the trauma?
Yeah, we have a car accident in a very mountainous road. We fell down a cliff. I was completely asleep in the back seat. So I woke up in the middle of the accident, and we fell and began rolling and rolling. And I have all of my bones were like crushed with the accident, especially my nose. And what I think is that we cannot as creator, we cannot waste pain. I think that pain is important to recover it and to be not proud of, but happy that that pain didn't kill it, make you stronger and gives you an opportunity to explore what it means to have an accident, or what it means to have a street fight, or what it means to lose someone you love. So that pain is what creators need. Not only pain, but happiness also, happy moments to write or direct a film, or write a novel, or write and direct a film.
And what do you think? Do writers, screenwriters need more pain or more happiness for a successful work?
I think that it doesn't matter. There's people who can create masterpieces from happiness. People that can create masterpieces from pain. Life is not pain or happiness, it's happiness and pain. And in my life I have been more happy than, I have more happiness than pain by far. So for me, happiness is an important way of confronting life, and in such way confronting art.
And your storytelling often involves multiple perspectives and timelines. How do you maintain coherence and keep the audience engaged when working with these complex narrative structures? And the characters in your work are often they often face moral dilemmas, and they make tough decisions, as in life. So how do you develop and portray these morally complex characters?
I have no idea how I write my things. It's a mystery for me. This book, for example, I have it in my head since I was 14. And it goes back and forth in time, and it has many perspectives. But I began discovering the perspective while I am writing. It's not that I have an idea of where I'm going. I just have, we're in the street where I grew up, things there happened there. Many strange things happened where I grew up. So I thought it was worth telling in this book. So I have no idea. My only purpose is to write a story and to write it as well as possible, and I respect the readers very much. I think that they invest in my book money and time, so I try to be as professional as possible.
Can you discuss any upcoming projects or themes that you're excited to explore in the future, whether it's writing or filmmaking? And what advice would you give to some aspiring screenwriters or writers or authors who want to create something that's emotionally resonant like yours?
Well, first I must tell you that I just produced the film of my son and my daughter. They direct together of their first feature. Is something I wrote. It was my first screenplay I wrote when I was 36 years old, and they directed, and fortunately they were in the official selection in the Venice Film Festival and in the official selection in the Toronto Film Festival. So I am very happy to have my son and my daughter becoming filmmakers. I'm going to direct another film. I'm in plans to direct another film, and I'm producing films. I have just produced a film in Brazil also. So I will direct, and I'm writing a new novel. My advice for young writers is finish what you begin. Don't be too harsh on you. Your first draft is going to be very bad. Don't worry. That's why you rewrite. Unless you are a genius. I rewrite a lot because I'm not a genius, so I work a lot. I think that rigor is the word that helps the most. So that will be my advice. Finish what you begin.
And might we agree that the hardest part is beginning to do the work?
No, I think that the hardest one is to finish. Beginning, you can begin writing whatever you want, but propulsing that, pushing that story to the end, it's what takes more time. So I don't think the beginning is a problem. I think that closing is the ending. Is the most difficult part.
And tell us a bit more about the book that you are presenting at FICT. A bit of it about the story, about how did you get to finish it?
Well, this book, Salvaticul, I wrote it for 5.5 years, and I rewrote it several times. I work a lot in the language, and I try to be try to think that as much as possible. It's a big book, you can see, but I try to make it work, and I rewrite. So it took me 5 years and a half, but it was, I told you, it was in my head since I was 14, 15. I want to tell the story of my neighborhood, where I grew up, to which I say before, strange things happened there, and they were a strange group. They were from the first drug dealers to ultra-right Catholics to anarchists to gangs. So it was an interesting place to grow up.
And let's address the elephant in the room. The title is Sălbaticul, that's a Romanian word, and I heard from a little bird that you are learning Romanian. How and why?
I always try to at least to have some conversation. Of course, Romanian it's not easy, but I'm trying to read, like for example, classical mythology, encyclopedia, and so I try to read as much as possible and to try to understand as many words I can.
Can you assimilate it a bit with Spanish, because Romanian is a Latin language as well, so maybe some words are...
Yes, of course, and I already learned to have a very basic conversation in Italian. I can more or less speak Portuguese, and I think that if I stay here for 3 weeks, I can manage at least to say hello, how are you, I want this for breakfast, where is the bathroom, you know. The basic, but I would love to learn Romanian, of course. No?
And we are glad you want. We can always help. And while we're here, what's your opinion of Cluj-Napoca, of Romania?
This is my second time in Romania. I like very much the people. The Romanian people are really nice people. They have always been nice to me. I haven't identified with Romanian people. I think that we are both Latins, so we have this bond, and I think it's a very cultivated citizenship. I think that Romania is quickly growing in terms of education. It's with everyone I've been talking to, they are studying, or they are just finishing a PhD. Like, wow. I know there are 7 universities here in Transilvania, big universities, important university. That Cluj-Napoca is a town of where education is important. So this is a country that I want to come once and again and again and again and again.
And we're happy to have you. And let's conclude in a positive way. What would you say to our viewers to inspire them? We always end the interviews like this. We want to inspire people to do something, to start trying something new, to be themselves. And what can we say today for them to...
Well, I will ask them to watch their hands. Watch your hands. You know, those hands are gonna become the hands of a corpse. You're gonna die. So what are you doing with those hands? Are you caressing the skins you want to caress? Are these hands fighting for what you want? Are you creating something? So do not forget that we have only this life. No matter if you're religious or not, this is basically the only life we have, and we have to make the most of it. And once you have that, the sense of happiness and a sense of fighting for what you want gets into your system, and you begin enjoying more life when you know it's gonna end.
That was the deepest one we had. Mr. Arriaga, thank you very much for your time. We wish you a great success with the book and the upcoming works, and see you next time.